Here's a growth curve. I'm a scientist and I've been a businessman. It's very interesting to plot growth. What do you notice immediately, even if you can't see anything, that this is two separate stages of work here. You have your early, you have your latter. In his early days, Muhammad preached the peace of Islam and got 150 people to follow him. 150 over a 13-year period. That's about 10 a year. He moved to Medina, where he became a warlord, a jihadist, and when he died, every Arab was a Muslim. Translation, religion was a failure. Peace was a failure. Jihad was an overwhelming success. Let's summarize it all. I call this dualism. Anti-Jew, Mecca, almost none. Medina, a lot. Jihad in Mecca, none. In Medina, a lot. The growth, no jihad, and then all jihad. The Bible, you have your religion, I have mine, I shall cast terror. Let's go back to what I'm talking about. Radical Islam. Radical Islam is nothing more than the Islam of Medina. Moderate Islam is the Islam of Mecca. So that's this dualism that we have. Notice that everything I'm telling you about has nothing to do with people. It has to do with doctrine, words on paper. So, Islam is dualistic. There is Meccan Islam and there is Medinan Islam. One's a big smile and the other is I'll take you down however I can. Which is the real Islam? Again, the proper answer is yes. That's the proper Islam. Radical Islam is Medinan Islam, modern Islam is Meccan, and of course, which one is real? They're both real. Here's why we want to talk about this. This is not an idle discussion. I have plotted the growth of Islam in countries where there is no Christianity left anymore. This is a plot of Turkey. Turkey used to be called Anatolia. It was the site of the 7 churches of Asia. Saul was from Tarsus. Tarsus was in Asia Minor, or Anatolia. Anatolia was Greek and Christian until Islam invaded. Whereupon the Christians in Turkey, or Anatolia, did not get a choice of convert or die. What they got was a new government based on the Sharia. Notice what happens to Christianity over the centuries with Sharia. Then do notice that the bottom scale here is done in centuries. What happens to Christianity? Today, Turkey is 99.7% Muslim and 0.3% Christian, and the Christians are leaving and declining. This is what happens with Sharia law. This is what happens with political Islam. It is not convert or die. It is live under the Sharia. Christianity can sustain itself under communism. Christianity can sustain itself under Nazism. Christianity cannot sustain itself under the Sharia. Obviously, this fact is not well understood anywhere in the state of Tennessee, because when the governor made 2 appointments, one that talked about Sharia finance, and now then he has decided that the voice of Islam will be represented only by Muslim Brotherhood, American Muslim Advisory Council. My voice is not welcome. He has decided that the Sharia is here. What is the problem? Does every pulpit rise up in insurrection and say, no, the Sharia will destroy Christianity and will destroy politics as we know it in Tennessee? No. The church is silent. The church doesn't know anything's going on. And yet, look, the church will be annihilated by the Sharia. And the first mention of it coming on board is like, welcome, brother. We're all about tolerance. The Sharia will destroy the Constitution. The Sharia will destroy Christianity. And you go, Bill, come on. This is the buckle on the Bible belt. If that be true, let me assure you that the church's pants are down around its ankles. Because I'm only condemning 95% of the ministers, but they're asleep and afraid. I say I rarely meet religious leaders anymore. I do meet a lot of chief executive officers that run a 501c3 that has a meeting on Sunday morning. Again, I'm only talking about 95% of them. But this is what political Islam does. And by the way, it does the same to Buddhism. Afghanistan was Buddhist. It does the same to Hindus. Pakistan was Hindu. So where everybody's sitting around going, well, you know, this is not a problem. I've got this new Muslim neighbor. He's a nice guy. There's nothing to worry about. I'm not talking about Muslims. I'm talking about what the doctrine of Islam does. Okay. I've made this lecture a little quicker than I normally would because, as you know, we're running behind schedule.